Awesome. Okay, so these 12 phases of healing I'm taking from a book by an author that I mentioned, Peter Levine. These are going to give us some kind of waypoints on the roadmap for healing. The roadmap for healing is what I'm going to connect to the hero's journey next week. So these are like 2 levels of the same stuff, but they're talked about in different ways. Okay, phase 1. Phase 1, avoid dissociation and denial. So I'm sure you guys all remember when you made the decision to come to treatment. Maybe you had a little bit of clean time before you came here, but often the process is that you decide to enter treatment and you need to spend some time in detox. Yes, sir.
I thought where you started out phase or the 12 phases, or the 12 phases as 1 prep phase, 2 tracking,
Yes.
and then 3 discharge. So
Correct. You are correct. These 3 phases are all prep phases.
okay, thank you.
Yep. So as you came into detox, you started to experience withdrawal. There was physical discomfort, right? There was emotional discomfort. As withdrawal starts to subside, you start to have that maybe a little bit of mental clarity, right? Your mind starts to function a little bit, whatever word you want to use, better or clearer or more right? This is an opportunity for you to get back in touch with who you are, right? But also, because of the discomfort and the overwhelm, it could be an opportunity for you to continue to practice dissociating and denying the reality of the experience. Anybody know what dissociation is?
Yeah.
Go for
It's
it.
like a separation.
Yeah, separation is a good way to think about it. What
I've
else?
had dissociative episodes.
And what happens?
For me, I felt a complete disconnect between my inner self and my actual body.
Yep. Okay, so it's an adaptive mechanism, right? This is a thing that the mind does to create a sense of safety. So if you have experienced any kind of interpersonal trauma, if you've ever been attacked, if you've ever been in a fight, anything like that, dissociation is a way that your mind allows you to kind of step out of that process so you don't have to actually experience all of that bad shit that happens to you, right? Your physical body does, right? But your mind kind of puts a block in the way.
Put it in the back of your mind.
Put it in the back of your mind, yeah, right? Out of sight, out of mind, yeah. So it can be a thing that provides safety. It can be a positive adaptive mechanism. Where it gets to be problematic is where that's your default response, right? Instead of being able to interact with reality and the things that are happening to you in a meaningful and purposeful way, you immediately dissociate, right? You immediately just check out. Anybody ever done that thing where you like leave work and you had a shitty day and you're like ruminating about how you fucked your boss up, and then the next thing you know, you had a half-hour drive and you ended up at home. You don't remember anything about the drive home. Classic example of dissociating, right? Your mind got stuck somewhere else. Your physical body was like, I hope we make it home, right? And then you get home and you're like, holy shit, how did that happen? Classic example, okay? What about denial? What's the difference between dissociation and denial?
Denial would be like you knowing something and actually experiencing it and then just denying that it actually happened.
Yeah, exactly.
After the fact, right?
Yes, sir. Can you tell me your name? I don't
Taylor.
know. Taylor?
Taylor, yeah.
Taylor, I'm Tobias.
Thank you.
Good to meet you. Yeah, so denial is like an intentional process, right? Different than dissociation, where dissociation is sort of like, not unconscious, but like a subconscious thing, right? And denial is like an active conscious choice, right? To not participate in the reality that's happening to you. or to say that it didn't happen, or to say that it wasn't as harmful as it was.
Trying to block it out of your mind.
Yeah,
But it
exactly.
still exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Right? And again, it's an adaptive mechanism, right? Our minds do this to us to create some sense of safety. So there are instances where this can be a positive thing, right? In the sense that in the moment, it reduces the harm that you experience, right? But again, if this becomes your default response, if you just choose not to interact with reality, right, which a lot of us have done, which is what addiction is, right? It's the willful choice not to accept and interact with the reality you're experiencing, then it starts to become problematic, right? So we have to understand that even though these things can be useful, there needs to be other things that we build up, right? All of these tools, all of these skills that allow us to avoid these as much as possible, right? To go through the hard shit, knowing that it's hard shit, right? But have skills and tools to help us navigate it effectively. Okay, so the thing that comes up often in phase 1 is boundaries. What do you guys know about boundaries?
Apparently nothing. Because, you know, boundaries are supposed to be set to regulate your emotions around certain things that make you, I guess, anxious or uncomfortable,
Mm-hmm.
and also to strengthen whatever you feel, you know, enlightens your mood or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
But, yeah.
Can somebody give me an example of a boundary that you've set in your life?
Respect.
Say again.
Respect.
Respect? Say more. What's the boundary?
Well, I mean, for me, as far as like growing up in a family, I have a lot of sisters too. I think respecting women is a big thing for me.
Okay.
You know, you putting your hands on females too, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying. I want you to be a little bit more articulate about it, refine it for me. So
So I
what,
think just giving, you get what you give. You know, so I mean, if you're putting out whatever you're putting out, I mean, you should be getting back.
so the boundary is treat other people how you want to be treated?
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Go ahead, sir.
When I got clean the first time, a while back, I would set a boundary of like, I didn't want people around me that were like using.
Mm-hmm.
So I made that clear, you know?
And why not?
Huh?
Why?
Well, because it was kind of a trigger to me, so,
Yeah.
and, you know, I wanted to stay clean.
Yeah, so it's a safety issue, right?
Like, even people at work, like, you know, I would tell, like, if I knew they were like using, cause it's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, I can't work with this guy, I'm a recovering addict.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Ola.
Like after college, setting up financial boundaries with my parents, like instead of them kind of having access to my accounts, just becoming financially.
Independent, nice. Go ahead, sir.
Just having sex with only my partner.
You said what now?
Having sex with only my partner.
Okay, yeah, so monogamy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
cool, yeah.
And,
And,
the same
and what's
goes for her, you know.
and what's the rationale behind the boundary?
Just not like accepting like her doing it with other people to me, you know, and then me doing the same thing to her. The
Mhm.
rationale behind the boundary is like respecting myself in a sense.
Sure,
I guess, yeah.
cool. Can you tell me your name again?
Logan.
Logan, thank you. Yeah, so Logan hits on a good point that I think is important, right? Because there's a difference between boundaries and rules. You guys know the difference?
Okay.
So boundaries are self-imposed, right? And like we've talked about, typically boundaries are associated with my personal safety, right? Whether that's like an actual physical boundary or whether it's more like an emotional boundary, like you're talking about, right? And these are things that I set up for my own safety, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to use your example, but I'm going to tweak it just a little bit, okay?
Okay,
Yeah, so if we're in a relationship, I know that I feel safe when I know that my partner is not having sex with anyone else because I don't want to get a sexually transmitted disease, right?
Yeah.
If my partner's off having unsafe sex, and then they come back and we have sex and I get a sexually transmitted disease, it's gonna fuck my shit up, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I could impose a rule. A rule would be me trying to control my partner's behavior. I would say, you can't sleep with anyone else, right?
Yeah.
Boundary is me saying, I'm gonna keep myself safe. You can do whatever you want, but if you do whatever you want, then we are not going to interact.
Okay, yeah.
You understand the difference?
Yeah,
The other person is going to do whatever they want.
absolutely, yeah.
I
You
can't,
control it.
yeah, and I really can't control it. If I impose that rule, there's really no way for me to enforce that. The boundary, though, says you can do whatever you want, and then for me to stay safe, I'm not going to interact with you if you make those choices.
Okay,
You guys understand the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. This is important, right? Because control is a huge issue in sobriety and recovery, right? We just want to control our addiction, right? We just want to control, right? So we feel safe, and that's really kind of bullshit, right? What we can do is set up scenarios where we have as much information as possible, right? We ask all the right questions, and we can say, okay, knowing what I know, I think this is what I need for me to feel safe in this situation. And then people are going to do whatever they want to do, right? If they choose to respect that and interact with you in the ways that you've expressed, then we have a clear boundary, right?
Yeah.
If they don't, then probably not going to spend a lot of time interacting with that person.
yeah.
This making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an important thing because, again, once we get into sobriety, right, we're going to work on communication, we're going to work on establishing relationships, we're going to work on connecting. All of those things are important, right? What we're not going to try and do, hopefully, is try to control all of those with this vice grip. Like, if I can't control it, then it's not worth it. It's like, well, you're already kind of setting yourself up for a less than ideal experience.
Yeah.
Anything else on boundaries? Sir?
It's almost like a waste of your own personal energy
I agree.
trying to enforce all that.
I believe it is.
You lose focus on what you're trying to accomplish.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
All right, phase 2, grounding. Okay, so again, once we get comfortable avoiding dissociation and denial, once we get comfortable kind of interacting with reality in a meaningful way, right? The tools that we've developed have to be used, right? You can't overuse these either. You could do this minute to minute if you had to, but hopefully life is not that stressful, right? Maybe once or twice a day you kind of have to like settle yourself, right? But it's still an important skill that has to be repeated. Let's see, how do I want to talk about that? So, what can you guys, and there's no wrong answers, right? But what can you guys imagine, like if I hadn't put this list up here, what might be some other activities you could engage in, or
Breathing.
yeah, exactly, that's what I'm looking for. It's like, go ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, if that hadn't been up there for like before I learned specifically, probably the body scan one is the one that I use the most for grounding. Like before, I would like physically go outside into the grass, and, like feel my feet on the grass, and
Right.
lay down,
Right.
and just like literally be on the ground.
Right, for sure. So there's tons of ways to do this, right? And again, I feel like the ways that are more physically oriented, where you have like a physical felt sense of being grounded, tend to be more useful and valuable. But again, there could be lots of different ways to do it. So the 2 ways that I have are belly breaths.
Belly breaths.
Belly breath? Oh, breath.
What's that other one? The second one down, the first word? No, right there. No, down.
Grounding.
Oh, grounding.
What's that last word, what's it say?
This says swaying, so I'm going to talk about both of those.
Swaying?
Yeah. Is it Tegan?
Yes.
Thank you. So just like Tegan mentioned, a really popular way that we ground ourselves is like taking your shoes off and putting your feet in grass, right? Literally like connecting to the ground. Say it again.
Oh, I said, it's just that saying go touch grass.
Go touch grass, exactly, right? So I kind of built off that a little bit with this swaying, and the thing that my therapist used with me, is exactly like, it's a tree vibe, right? So this kind of connects back to what we talked about with posture. Like if I stand rigid and upright, like there's some good things that come with that, right? I maybe feel confident, I maybe feel some sense of like personal strength, right? But I'm also actually like super rigid.
Yeah.
I'm inflexible, right? So my therapist worked with me on this idea of like, right? You just kind of like, I still have my posture, right? I'm still confident, I still feel good about myself, but there's also kind of this
Flexibility?
Yeah, some kind of like flexibility, right? We talk about how the way that trees develop strong trunks is not by just being in a passive environment, right? The way that trees develop strong trunks is feeling the wind, right? And as they sway, they get some sense of their external environment, and then they adapt to that environment, right? They don't have to change what's going on around them. They're aware of what's going on around them, and then they react to it in a meaningful and purposeful way, right? So using your imagination, you could just stand somewhere. I do this all the time out in public, standing in line. Yeah, I'm doing it right now. It's like, and it just feels good, right? And then instead of like trying to hold myself in this position and interact with you guys, which feels super awkward, right?
Yeah.
So again, take some of that, maybe use it, figure out some way to make it your own, okay? And then belly breaths. So again, like we did in our body scan, right? The ability to inhale shallowly, like if I can just breathe to my sternum, I'm probably in a pretty stressed out state. Right? So very shallow, right? Right, let's do a couple of those. Big inhale through your nose. Right, that deep sigh is a biological reset. Right, it is a cue for your physical body and your mind to be like, okay, hold on a second, what the fuck's going on? Relieve stress, right? And you can do that kind of subconsciously, but you can also do it actively and consciously. I'm stressed out, I feel my shallow breaths, I just need to be one big one.
We did it like last week and the week before with Miss Nance, we got the horse trail.
Okay, yeah,
She's
yeah.
telling us to do that, the same, basically exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you'll find if you do any kind of like equine therapy, or if you work with dogs, any of those animal therapies, you will, I won't say you will, but animals do this as well, right?
Right.
And you will feel, interacting with a horse or a dog, when they breathe that way, you will feel a response in your own nervous system. Yeah, exactly. So it's a way of connecting as well. It's super cool.
Same thing she said when we go see the horses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what we're always talking about. Yeah.
She explained it just like you are right there.
It's almost like it's a thing. I didn't even make it up. I didn't even make it up.
You're in the battleground. She wants to like mine. You didn't even make it up.
So again, right? Deep breaths. However you do that, right? This is why exercise is so valuable, right? If you get yourself into a good hard workout, you're breathing really hard. What happens when you're done, right? When you finish that set, when you finish your whole workout, you feel relaxed,
Less
right?
stressed.
Yes, sir.
Yo, when we went out to the horses once, we all got kind of in a circle group, and we were doing these breathing exercises, and a horse, he was like 30 feet away from us, and as we were breathing out, the horse just went as a reaction to our group.
It's real life.
Cool.
Yeah.
How well it worked.
Absolutely. Great example.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's real shit.
Question.
Sure.
I don't know if it's on the topic or not, but are you familiar with animal behaviorism? Oh, like how like the horse jockey and the horse, like the horse can read the jockey's body language.
Yeah, absolutely, right. This is, keep going, guys.
I was wondering, like auras, like how do you call them an aura? Because I have people like they'll like come up to me out of nowhere and be like, hey, your aura's like out of whack and it's like creating like havoc with like this man, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
Okay, cool.
It's like, other than body breathing or swaying, is there any other way that I'd be able to calm that so I'm not affecting other people in a negative way and going across cross their boundaries.
Yeah. So let's do this for just a few minutes, and this is like the least scientific part of the stuff I present, but I'll give you my opinion, and then take from it what you want. So I heavily believe in both frequency and vibration, right? These are physical things that exist around us, right? There are lots of good studies about literally the vibes that you put off being a physical thing. Literally the frequency of emotion has been established beyond a shadow of a doubt, right? If you're angry, your physical presence will vibrate at a different frequency than if you were experiencing joy or experiencing grief or experiencing any of those things. So I don't know that I necessarily believe in an aura, right? I don't know that I can see orange around you or anything like that. Maybe some people have that ability, I do not. But I can definitely feel if I stand next to a person, right, and their system is activated or triggered in some way, that impacts me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Literally, physically, right? I'm not saying like the vibes are off. The vibes are off, but I'm saying like the way that they are vibrating, the frequency that they are putting off is a meaningful and real thing. So, to your question, is there a way that you can adjust that? All of these things. What was the vibe after we did the body scan? Super chill, right? Everybody in the whole room was like, well, everyone has their own experience, right? Everyone has their own experience. But generally speaking, right? Nobody felt angry, nobody felt aggressive, nobody felt like they were elevated, right? So, again, David, to your point, if somebody is referencing you as having some kind of vibe, whatever that is, be curious about it, and then see what you can do to manipulate your own thing, right? See what works for you to change the way that you're feeling, which will change the way that it's being communicated to other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Good question. Okay, here we go. Phase 3. Build a resource list. So this is kind of what we're doing right now. This is, I think, again, sort of an underutilized aspect of treatment, right? Let's say we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21 guys, 22 counting me guys in the room. That means that we have 22 different perspectives. We have 22 different levels of experience.
22 different personalities.
22 different personalities, 22 different, combined knowledge, right? Utilize each other, right? In this environment, when are you guys ever going to be, well, most of us will be at meetings and things like that again, so maybe you will be in environments like this. But, like, you guys can't leave. You're stuck here in this hallway, rooms, place.
Oh, we can leave, sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you still have free will, of course. Yeah, you still have choice. But I'm saying, like, imagine what it would be like if you guys figured out how to not capitalize, but take advantage of the resources that are in this room, right? I'm sure some guy who works on cars, right? Who builds things, who's in construction, right? Who works with money or financially. Okay, you guys see what I'm saying? Build this resource list now. Get everybody's number. Figure out what they do for work. Figure out where they're going to be after you get out of treatment, right? Because now it's not just you going through this process. Now it's you going through this process with a little help from the guy who does construction, and a little help from the guy who works in finance, and a little help from the guy who works on cars. And maybe you don't need it for years, but having that resource list available when you do need to access it can be life-saving. Good.
So it's kind of like, I don't know if you ever watched the show Junkyard Wars, or like any like team building like thing where like you have to each get together and find out what tool you utilize and what people specify in. So like, you can apply that to everything in life?
Yeah.
You do? Do you think, like, from my experience, like, in a work environment, people don't do that too often?
No, they don't. Not often enough.
How do you bridge the gap and start communicating better with people to be like, hey, if we open up and like environmentally like ground ourselves in a group with each other, because like let's say with my friends, like I don't know how many people in this room have tried to do something as a group of people out there, or like a gang or whatever, but like, I've tried to get my two friends together and be like, okay, like in my perspective, let's say the three of us are together and we're trying to accomplish this task or this goal. It's a group goal. Everyone has their single goals and things to do, but like, what happens if like I talk too much? That's one thing I do too much. And so like I know this, it causes havoc and mayhem in the group. So like I try to explain to them if something like that happens, obviously I need to A, take myself away from the group and realize that hey, I need to separate myself. B, have somebody in the group take me apart from the group and help me calm down so we can be better in the group. But like also understand that the group needs to keep going towards the shared task and goal. Like how do I better communicate that with people?
It's a fucking amazing question. Go ahead, Sean.
Kind of networking. Same thing with networking. Been in plumbing for a long time, started my own business a while ago. I meet guys on jobs, tile guys, concrete guys, sheetrock guys, all kind of shit. Get their name and their info, and you know what I mean. I have a job, and hey, the homeowner's like, hey, you have a cabinet guy? Absolutely.
Yep. So
It's networking.
Yep. I'll very briefly, let me answer your question. There's an author named Sebastian Junger. Anybody know Sebastian Junger? He's a journalist. He wrote a book called Tribe. So the first thing I'll say is, biologically, evolutionarily, the way that society is right now is fucked.
Yeah.
We've done it wrong.
Yeah.
Right? 10,000 years ago, when we lived in tribes, when we had community that surrounded us, you never had to have the conversations that you're talking about. You never had to ask, am I imposing on anyone? You never had to ask, is this for me or is that for you? Right? It was just like a collective.
The hierarchy was set though.
Yeah, sure, there was hierarchy set, but it was like everybody had a place and everybody had a job and a purpose, right? Whereas today, we've all sort of individualized ourselves, right? We've all kind of taken what we can get for ourselves and made it as good as we can, and then we're trying to survive. And to me, this is a reason why a lot of us fall into addiction, because we don't have the support around us where I can go, hey, I have a need that I can't meet myself, and I also don't have anybody else around me that can meet that need. I'm isolated, I'm lonely, I don't have, because nobody has all the resources, right? Nobody has all of our shit covered, right? Everybody needs to ask somebody for something. Networking. So that's where we kind of fall now, right? So to answer your question, I would say, find your tribe. And that sounds totally cliche, and it's an easy, like simple, like just find your tribe. But also literally, when you do, you'll know. And you won't have to ask the questions that you just asked. You won't have to go to people and be like, why can't we get it together? If you keep asking those questions, you're probably not in the right, and when I say right for you, right? It's not like there's some moral thing about this, but it's like the people that you're interacting with, they're not on that same vibe, right? They're not on that same, like, let's get together and make it work. So you gotta look somewhere else.
That makes sense.
And when you do, and again, this is like curiosity, this is like a huge part of recovery, be curious until you do find that group. And when you do, then you'll know. And that's super simplifying it, but it's also
If
like,
you want to, you'll still be in the same frequency.
yeah, exactly.
Stress
Okay. Oh, 5 more minutes. All right, so internal, external, we've already kind of gone over these, and you guys are already on track, but just real briefly, what is the difference between internal and external resources?
Internal is what you feel inside, external is what you feel around you.
Love that.
I was part of it, I promise
Yeah,
you.
no, I know, you're here, I hear you.
Hey, is that supposed to be ER, not RE?
Yeah. That caffeine thing. Extrenal circumstances.
Yeah.
All right, look, we got 2 more minutes. Come on, stay with me. So what are some internal resources?
Breathing.
Could be, that's like physically, but go a little deeper for me.
Meditation.
Yeah, right? This is referencing our internal dialogue. This is referencing how we talk to ourselves.
Grounding too,
Grounding can be part of it.
Breathing.
Grounding, I feel, is kind of, it could be both, right?
Both of them.
External is like doing the work, but probably good for your head as well.
Like affirmation.
Like belly breathing, deep breath.
Yeah, and you guys are thinking physically, and I love that.
Like,
But go somewhere else for me.
maybe like reading things that you've written down.
There we go.
for yourself.
Right. Yes, exactly. Right. This is all the stuff we talked about earlier with like journaling, reflecting. internal thought,
Emotions.
affirmations, mantras, what'd you say?
Emotions.
Emotions, yes, absolutely.
Like memories?
Yeah, could be,
Reflection.
as long as they can kind of
Yeah.
push that trajectory in a positive way, yeah. Okay, and external resources. What are some external resources?
Yes, we should talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, therapy,
Yeah.
get a counselor. Say it again?
Connection.
Connection, right, establish some tribe,
Home groups.
home groups, sponsors.
Go on walks, sponsors, playing guitar.
Yes.
Anything that helps you to change your ultimate.
Gangbang.
Maybe not game bang,
This is just.
maybe not. Okay, let's see. I think that's where we're gonna stop for today.
Yo, Steven, I think you need to drop those thoughts with all these guys over
I could be my girl.
Okay, so let's finish up. Any other questions about what we've talked about today?
Say again, sorry.
That's all right. Just any other questions about anything that we've covered today? Okay, so just a quick review, right? So we talked about how to set up daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly check-ins, right? Have a daily practice that lets you touch all of those 4 pillars that we talked about: physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, right? Weekly check-ins that allow you to schedule things, stay on track. Monthly goals, right? Remember, we stopped talking about goals as much as we talked about forecasting. You guys good? Yeah. Okay, all right.
Thanks, Wes.
And then quarterly accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
Give yourself an opportunity to feel good about the work that you've done. Okay? Cool. Awesome. I appreciate you guys' time and attention today. Come up here, let me sign your sheet, and I'll give you a high five. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, also, who's been forging the check marks? Who forged the check marks? You sons of... Thank you, bud. I mean, it's not hard, but I'm saying. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I learned something.
Bye. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was your name? Tobias. How do you like it, sir? Thanks, Daddy.
2 check marks, right? Oh, there's only one.
Just one, just for education. Thanks, Daddy.
Yeah, thank you. You too, man.
Oh, thanks, Tyler.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Tobias. Thank you. Yes, sir. I'll be here. Thanks, man. Thank you. Yes, man. Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
Good, Oliver.
Thank you, that was awesome.
Thanks.
So a lot of good info.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Tobias. The client book you were talking about, did you say Junger? Is that Junger?
Junger.
Okay, cool. That's what I wrote down. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah. It goes all the way up. Thanks, James. Appreciate
Intervening, like.
Could you just get the rest of them?
I wish.
You sound like you just like you sound like a good
You too, man.
You sound just like you sound that song. Thank you, sir.
Earl, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good teacher.
I appreciate it.
And we need that.
Yep.
Earl, you don't even sound like that in real life. Huh? You don't even sound like that in real life. Oh, John Rule. John Rule? Yeah. Oh, no, that's the record. Yeah, no. His voice is much softer. Yeah, But dude, go out.